to episode 14 of the TattedTatter Crochet and Tatting podcast. My name is Stephanie and I'm coming to you from Orange in Southern California. And this is a podcast originally intended to be all about crochet and tatting, but these days is more about crochet and knitting, as I am going to call myself a knitter. More about that later. Yeah, so we will go ahead and just jump right on into it and get started with finished objects. So I am calling myself a knitter now because I have done 3 knitting projects and started a 4th. So I think that now that I'm comfortable enough with knitting, I can call myself a knitter, a beginning knitter, but a knitter nonetheless. So we'll start with the knitting projects. I showed you last week the mitts that I made, and that pattern was part of a class from Craftsy, which is now called Blueprint, because they do other stuff too, like DIY home stuff, I guess. I have no idea. They still sell Craftsy yarn and things. But the class is called Startup Library Knitting. It's taught by Susan Anderson. And so I did the mitts for that class, and then the next project was a cowl. And so it's a waffle stitch cowl. And here it is. So this is yarn. I used Lion Brand's Woolies Thick and Quick for this because it's a super bulky. And you can see it's called the waffle stitch cowl because this is a waffle stitch. And I told you about it last week because I had started it and then realized I was doing it wrong and then ripped it out. Although then I realized that I don't think I was actually doing it wrong. I think I was looking at the wrong side. But I learned which side was the right side through that. So, and I got it done. I finished it and I think it looks pretty good. My stitches are mostly even. I had a little bit of issues of dropping stitches and had not yet learned how to pick them back up. So I did some finagling. But yeah, I think it looks pretty spiffy. And it is certainly going to be nice and warm and cozy when the time comes. That time is most definitely not now because it was 90 degrees today and it was 90 degrees yesterday. Oh, September. I need to wash it so that it'll kind of loosen up a little bit. Right now it's still kind of stiff, but laundry day. So I think once I wash it, it'll help with that. But I really like it and it was pretty quick. I did it on size 15 bamboo needle circulars, and I think it was a 32-inch thingy. The cord, that's what it's called, a cord, a 32-inch cord. So I did that, and the patterns are also by Susan Anderson, who teaches the class, so if you do the class. And so I think I told you about this a while ago. I signed up for Craftsy Unlimited when they were having a deal, and I got like all kinds of yarn and stuff, and so I can take classes for a year because I signed up for the unlimited thing. And then so the last project as part of this class, so this taught you how to crochet, how to knit in a round. And then we did knitting in a round and color changes and made a hat. So this is I think they just call it like a chunky striped beanie or something along those lines, because it uses bulky yarn. So this is Charisma and Charisma Tweed from Loops and Threads, which I think is Michael's brand. It's 100% acrylic, but it's really soft. And then the tweed has like 2% other fibers or whatever to put the tweed in there, I guess. But it's a straight beanie and just a knit 2, purl 2 rib, and then the color changes. I have 1 extra row in this gray because I miscounted, but who's counting? And then you also learn decreasing for this to do the top. And then I went ahead, I've been crocheting for over a year, almost like a year and a half now, and never bought a pom-pom maker, so I finally got a pom-pom maker and made a pom. And figured out how to do it. I did it wrong the first time. And I was like, why isn't this working? And then I actually looked at the instructions and I realized I was wrapping it around the wrong part. Anyway, so yeah, beanie. I'm gonna wash this too. I'll take the pom-pom off because all I did was tie a bow instead of attaching it fully so that I can wash it because it's a little loose. Yeah, and then you can see, I think I did a pretty good job on the color changes. You can kind of see where they meet, but I think for the first time, I think it's pretty spiffy. And as somebody pointed out to me, although this was unintentional, these are Hufflepuff colors. So anyone's a Hufflepuff, go Hufflepuffs. I haven't done the thingy yet on the website, done the sorting hat thing, because I haven't finished all the books. So when I finished all the Harry Potter books, then I will figure out which house I'm in. Because you can't be a part of the English-speaking world and not know what house you're in for Harry Potter, apparently. Why not? It's good fun. And so that's my hat. And it's very cute. I'm not going to put it on because I'm having a good hair day and I don't want to mess with it. So that's the two knitting, and I'll show you my knitting whip when we get there. And then I also did a crochet project this week. It was nice to get back to crocheting because I'm better at it and it goes a lot faster. But my nephew's birthday is this weekend, and I was gonna make him a mermaid tail blanket, or merman tail blanket, whatever. It's merman pop. But I don't want to. Because I already made my sister one, and then I made my niece one, and I got the yarn and everything, and I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to. I was gonna make him a green one, and he doesn't care. He's turning 9, so he really does not care. So I texted my sister, and I was like, what if I just make him some hats? So I made the first hat this morning and this afternoon. So this is a beanie, and this is from a book that the cat is sleeping on, so I can't show it to you. But I just got it at Michael's, one of the ones they keep by the yarn. It's like a celebrity slouchy beanies, and I've made a couple of hats from it already, including this one, but I modified it because I made one for my brother-in-law for Christmas last year using a more loose yarn. It was like the Lion Brand Heartland, I think. And so it's softer, and so it doesn't hold up as well for beanies, I don't think, for crocheted beanies anyway. So this one I used Vanna's Choice because I had this left over from when I made my unicorn blanket. And so I did it's just a slouchy beanie, worked in back loops. And so I did that, but I did a single crochet border so that it tightened up a little bit in that end. Oh, hi, Peanut. Say hello. I think she likes it when I podcast because then she can come and sit in my lap. If I'm crocheting or knitting, she can't really sit in my lap. Say hello. So yeah, so I did a single crochet. I think I just did like 4 rows of single crochet on the edge when in the pattern it only calls for 1, but I feel like it's a little too loose. And since he's 9, or going to be 9, although he's almost 5 feet tall, so he's gonna be a big kid. It would be nice to have it kind of go in a little bit more so that it'll fit better, because I'm sure he'll be running around while he's wearing it. Yeah, and my sister said that he would love some beanies, so I made this one. And then I'm going to make him one. I'm gonna try to knit one. I have to figure out what yarn I want to use first, but I was watching Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. I was watching her most recent podcast from this week, and she made just a simple like skull cap beanie for someone. And so I might try that because I looked up the pattern on her Ravelry, and it's a free pattern, and it uses worsted weight yarn and then like size 6 needles or something. So I figured that would be really easy. Oh, and this beanie used size 10 with a 16-inch cord. And the bamboo was a little tough with the acrylic, but mostly with the decreases was when it was hardest, but I think it turned out okay. So anyway, and then I used a size 5 hook for this hat. The only thing I think I'm gonna try to steam block this, because you start with the chain 4 and then, you know, slip stitching it together to make it in the round, and it just sits out weird. Like it kind of gets pointy. And so I think I'm going to try to steam block it so that it can be more like this. So it's more like a beanie instead of a cone head cap. But I need an iron because we do not have a working iron, and it's on my list of things to get because we need one for my husband's work shirts and stuff anyway. So when I get an iron, I can steam block this, and that'll be the first steam blocking I've ever done too. I've never really steam blocked anything. And then I will wash it. These I don't think need to be steam blocked. I can just wash them and they'll be fine because they're 100% acrylic. But yeah, so then I'm gonna try to make the Skull Cat beanie as well, and I'm sure we'll get him some game because he's really into the Switch, the Nintendo Switch right now. His birthday party is Fortnite themed, which I've never played, but I know is a big deal, so it should be fun. There's gonna be a llama piñata, so it's gonna be a good time no matter what. Yeah, and then I only ever do acrylic for the kids because they're children and it needs to be washable, and they don't really care if it's wool, and it's not really cold enough in Southern California for them to wear wool, so acrylic is perfect. But I'll figure out. He really likes green, but I think I might make him a gray one because I don't have a lot of green yarn. And I think gray would be cool. So we'll see. Also for knitting, a lighter yarn, and I think would be better. So anyway, so that's all of my finished objects because I've really been focusing on the knitting, and I had to rip those out and redo them a couple times as I was learning. But I've enjoyed it a lot, and so I decided after I finished the beanie and I finished the class, I am gonna go for it and do a fingering weight project because that's really what I wanna do with knitting, is do like Fair Isle and color work and all that kind of cool stuff, and so I really needed to try something on fingering weight yarn. And so it is living in my Sacred Heart bag, which is from Kathleen of Republica Unicornia. I showed you her yarn last week, and then I cannot wait. She had a shop update, and I did not buy yarn. Yarn band, I did not buy yarn. But I did buy some bags. She had two really cute bags, and they're an interesting construction. They're triangle shaped, so I'm really interested to see how that works out and to try them. And let you all know how it goes. But anyway, this is her bag. She did this as a charity thing, and so I got that. It was the first thing I ever got from her. And what I am making is a cowl, and so it's all scrunchied because it's living on my needles, right? But I'm done with the ribbing, and I'm almost done with the first color. So the pattern is the Fast Fade Cowl by Molly Klein Design, because all of her patterns are beginner patterns, and so I wanted to give it a try. It is a paid pattern, but this is her cowl. So mine's gonna be very different colors, but I'll show you the colors. That's the Fast Fade Cowl by Molly Klein Design. And so hers is 5 colors plus a ribbing color. And I had, from the LA Yarn Crawl last year, I had bought a mini skein set as part of the LA Yarn Crawl when I decided that I was gonna learn how to knit. So my mother-in-law was here and she knits, and so she taught me the long tail cast on and all that kind of fun stuff. And when I got to the fingering weight stage of knitting, that this is the yarn that I wanted to use for it, and the Fast Fade Cowl is perfect. I think I hit the table. Stop shaking. Because it's an easy beginner pattern. It's a simple ribbing, and then you just knit all the way around and do the color changes until you get to the ribbing again, and that's it. So I knew it would be really easy and a good beginner project. And so the yarn is from Long Dog Yarn. She's based out of LA, and it's called the Unicorn Fade set. So let me see if I have the band. And it was an LA Yarn Crawl exclusive. But yeah, so this is Long Dog Yarn, and this is her bounce sock. 75% superwash, 25% nylon, 100 grams, so it was 5 20-gram mini skeins. And I got it at Alamitos Bay, which is in Long Beach, is one of our local yarn shops. And then the ribbon colorway is one of the mini skeins that Anna from Moon Tower Dye Works sent me with one of my orders. And it's called, hold on, I have my computer here so that I can look things up on Ravelry while we are talking, because it makes my life so much easier. So this one is loading. It's called Purple something, which I'm sure is incredibly helpful. Oh, here we go. Oh, and I'm calling this, I'm gonna call the cowl my faded unicorn cowl, because it's a unicorn fade, and I think it's funny, so you can't stop me. Oh, I didn't put it in here. I'll look it up and I'll put it up about what the purple color is called. It's purple something. Stark purple or something like that. Anyway, and then I'll show you the colors of the fades. So this is the Moon Tower Dye Works color right in the ribbing. And then you fade to the first color, which is the purple. And these are all part of the unicorn fade, so they don't have individual names. And I think the fade set was like a special thing, because like I said, it was the Yarn Crawl exclusive. So I'm gonna go from the purple to the pink / light purple to, hold on, I wrote it down to make sure, the kind of peachy blue, this is not, what are you, oh no center pulling. That is for sure no center pulling. I did wind these on my winder, but because the middle is so big, it didn't, I'm definitely not gonna be center pulling these. Get back in there. But this is like a mix, so this is like pink and purple and blue, and it's a lighter kind of color, so we're gonna go to there. And then from there, we're going to be going to the yellow greeny color, and then to the blue, and then back to the ribbon color. So I'm adding in an extra color, and I'll just do the color changes the way that it happens in the pattern, because it's just, you know, do it this many rounds and then alternate until you get to the second color. And so I also shortened the ribbing because I didn't want to run out of the border color, because I just had a 20-gram mini skein, and in Molly's pattern she said she used a 35. She used about 35 grams, so I kind of shortened it. And also that meant that I didn't have to rib as much. There was less knitting and then purling, and now it's just all knitting. But I think it's turning out pretty well. I messed up on the rib. I got off, and I decided that instead, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to tell. I decided that instead of ripping it out, I was just gonna start, and so that it was correct. So there's a little bit, but it'll be in the back, and it's only a couple of, it's maybe like a quarter of the way around. And then at the color change portion, which is, I guess I didn't stop in the middle of a color change, just stopped in the middle of a row. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So where the colors changed, I must have done something a little off, or I didn't pull it right, because there's a little bit of a hole. There, you can see the hole there. Where the ribbing meets the knit section. But that can be sewn up, that can be seamed, because there's a bunch of ends right there that are gonna have to be woven in anyway, so. But otherwise I think it's going pretty well. My stitches are pretty even. I love the way this color looks. I think it's so pretty. And it was perfect that these faded into each other, even though they're from different dyers. And so I thought that was perfect. And then of course I have I'm gonna be on theme, and I'm doing a unicorn stitch marker that I got from Alamitos Bay when we were there for the yarn crawl, and same time I bought this yarn, so it's perfect. Yeah, and so that's my knitting project. It is taking a really long time because as far as I understand it, knitting already takes longer than crochet, and I'm new, so I'm really slow, and it's fingering weight yarn, and so it's just like it has been like 5 or 6 hours to get to just this point. And I'm like, is this gonna get better? And I think it's also, so these are size 3, US size 3 needles with a 16-inch cord. And they're Boye, B-O-Y-E brand that I just got at Michael's, I think. And where the cord gets bigger to then like go into the needle, it keeps the yarn, like I have to push it really hard to get it over that bump. And I don't think I'm knitting tightly or anything, so I'm wondering if it's the needles, like if it's just because they're like cheapy Michael's brand needles. I'm not sure, so if you have any recommendations on what to do about that, I would greatly appreciate it, because from what I understand, and like seeing people knitting online and stuff, is like it should be pretty, like, stop kicking the stand. It should be pretty like smooth, right? Like it should just go, even if it's slow going, it should go, but I have to stop, to push, and then I have to pull. So anyway, if you have any advice on how to do that, that would be very helpful. But I think it's going to be good. I mean, it looks really pretty. And like I said, I think stockinette is like amazing and I love it. And so I'm excited to be doing that. And I've already decided, oops, let me put the pattern and everything back, on what I'm going to be doing for my next knitting project, because I also watched the Crochet Circle podcast from this month. It's done by Faye Dasper Hughes of Knit It, Hook It, Craft It, and Faye Dasper Hughes Designs. And I showed you my Loft Shawl. That's from her. We did the loft off and everything. I kicked everybody's butts. Because I had to. I was going on vacation. And she has a knitted version. And so it was by her when she was doing her podcast, and she talked about it a little bit. And the knitted version looks really nice. And it looks very different than the crocheted version, because the knitting fabric is a little bit more drapey and kind of curly and pretty. And so there's a DK knitted version, because I was like, no way am I going to do an entire shawl that is just straight knitting in a fingering weight. That would take me an eternity. And I have a good amount of DK yarn left, and I thought it would be good to do the DK to like continue to do my skills, but not take 3 years to knit a shawl, because I don't want to get too frustrated with it. And I had the perfect yarn. So I'm sure I showed you this a long time ago, because I was going to use it to make a Molly Klein pattern. Can you tell I have some favorites? And I used a different yarn instead. I'd used it to make my Deadpool shawl. It was the Mondays at the Library shawl. And I bought these at Make One, which is the yarn shop near where I work. And I think they would make a really cute loft. And they're perfect for springtime, which, you know, it's just only a few months away. I'm sure I'll get it done by then. But these are Lemonade Shop. This is her DK base. It's 75-25 superwash nylon. This color is Glenda, and I'm not sure how it'll end up looking, but from what I'm seeing on the camera, it's a little brighter than what it actually is. Maybe I'll take a picture. This is Shark Bait, and this is Sleepover. And so I think Lemonade Shop's out of Colorado, I think. Denver, maybe? Anyway. Lemonade Shop was the first hand-dyed yarn that I crocheted with. My mother-in-law bought me a skein of it, and so I really like it. And I think these colors would make a really cute loft. And it'd be a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to do that, and I will show you. Stop. I stand. I keep kicking it. It's just a TV tray. So anyway, I'm gonna do that. Trying to use up the yarn that I already have, right? Because I'm running out of space and don't want to spend a fortune. But I did get a couple of things that came in the mail, or one set of things that came in the mail, and then I'll tell you about the other thing. But the first thing that I got, so Faye, in her shop, she sells patterns through her Faye Jasper Hughes Designs, but in Knit It, Hook It, Craft It, she sells supplies, knitting and crochet and embroidery supplies, and they're all locally sourced to her in the UK. They're sustainable, all that kind of fun stuff. And so one of the most recent things that she added that I knew I needed in my life were hand-turned crochet hooks. So this is one of them. The company that makes them is called Ballynagrin. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, crafts. And they do handcrafted wood wear. And so this is, all the hooks I got are ash. And like I said, they're hand turned. And so this is the size 5. It has the number on the bottom. And then their thing. It only shows up on one of them really well, so I'll show you that one. But you can see let's see if I look. Can you see it? There you go. You can see it's kind of hand carved out of there. And then I also did a 4. Oh, see that? You can, I don't know if you'll be able to see it through the cellophane. Yeah, you can see the thing better. So I did a 4. All these are ash. And then a 4.5. And then the 5. So you can see they're definitely hand turned. They're like different sizes and slightly different shapes. I haven't really used them yet because I've been knitting, but I was really excited to get these, and they were incredibly reasonable considering they're hand turned. I think they were like £7.50. And then the shipping wasn't too bad, so definitely for being hand turned, that's a pretty good deal, and they feel really nice. I tried to use the 5 to make the hat, but I think because of the acrylic, it wasn't catching in the same way because of the wood hook instead of an aluminum, so I'll try it with some wool when I get there. And then because Faye is amazing and wonderful, she also sent me tags, so to put these on gifted crochet. So it says crochet worthy, and then on the back you can give the washing instructions. So if it's hand wash, if you can or cannot put in the dryer, if you can or cannot iron it, can or cannot dry clean, all that kind of fun stuff. And then she always puts a little card on it and tells you where everything came from. So the hooks are hand turned in Northern Ireland from local wood to them. Which is really cool. I love that she does stuff that's sustainable and local, and she has like an environmental rating on all of her stuff, and it's really good. And then of course, like, you know, we waste all the fuel to get it to the US, but hopefully that cancels itself out. So, so that came, and then I did buy a little bit of yarn because my local Joann is moving. And they're just moving right down the street, but they have to get rid of everything. So everything is on sale, like massively on sale. So I got a little bit of yarns that I know that I like and that I wanted to try. So I did, I got some jeans. So Lion Brand has this new jeans yarn, and Hannah from Cozy Cottage used this to make a cardigan, and I really liked it. But really hadn't had a reason to purchase it yet, so I got some because it was, like I said, insanely on sale. This is the color Jumpsuit, and this yarn is 100% acrylic, and it's really soft. So I got some of that to make something nice, make a garment of some sort. I'll have to get more because I only had like 4 skeins left, and I'm sure that's not enough for a garment. And then the other one that I got some Lion Brand regular wool-ese, but in the mustard color, because I love this mustard so much. And this is the gold colorway, and these are 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So it's a little bit softer than just regular acrylic. So I got a couple of those. You can see it's like falling apart, and they had to tape it back together because they're getting rid of everything, and everything was on super sale. And I did get one. So Lion Brand has the mandala cakes, and now at Joann they sell these cupcakes, which is, from my understanding, are basically the exact same thing as the mandala, but in slightly different colors. So I knew I didn't have this, and I love it. It's called Clown Car, which is adorable. And these are 100% acrylic, but it's a DK. So it's a DK weight and the cake, and then you can pull from the middle, right? And so I did get one of those. And then the big thing that I found that I'm super excited about is they had needles, and they had Deborah Norville Everyday, whatever. Deborah Norville is sold by Premier Yarns, and they had interchangeable sets. So this is a 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6 wooden needles. And then, let's see, it's a 24, 32, and 40-inch cords. And after all of the discounts, these were $7. Like, originally, these are at least like 30 something. So I was like, yes, please. I will do that, because I need slightly better needles, and having the interchangeables will be nice. So they kind of look like the Knit Picks interchangeables, actually, that I've seen. Because they're wooden, and then they're kind of the marled, or the stripey, whatever. Anyway, so these are the 5s. And then they have the cords, and they seem to connect really nicely, so, and they don't stay loopy like the bamboo cords do, the plasticky ones from the bamboo cords. And then it also came, so you all can help me with this, with, it says caps, which my understanding is you put them on the needles so that the yarn doesn't come off, right? But they don't really fit, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm crazy and that's not what this actually is. And then it says they come with a, what do they call it? A cord key. So if this is like, it just goes through, because the holes line up, just like, is this so that the cord doesn't fall off? Like, I'm confused. What is this for? Tell me. Tell me, internet. What is this? I mean, I'm sure I could Google it. I just got this stuff yesterday, so anyway. So yeah, so that was a huge thing, because it's on clearance. It was $21, and then it was an extra 30% off, and then I got an extra 15% off, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Deborah Norville, Premier. Comfy interchangeable needle set, because they're comfortable wood. But it's perfect because the size 6s, the 6s are this way. The size, it's a size 6 and then a 40-inch cord for the DK Loft. So that's perfect. Now I have the right needles and cord and everything to make that. I may go back by the Joann's to see if they have something that looks like a better size 3 with the 16-inch cord, so that I can not be driven crazy by this cowl, unless you all tell me that that's just how it is, and then I will believe you, and then I'll just have to practice, get better at it, get used to it. But that's all the stuff that I got. I did want to tell you about some patterns that I found. So I purchased the DK knitted loft from Faye, because I didn't have any of the knitted versions yet. And then the beanie that I want to make for my nephew is a free pattern. It's called the Regular Guy Beanie, and it's by Chuck Wright. So if you want to find that. And then another pattern that I purchased that I don't have plans for yet, but I'll go through my stash and figure out what I want to make, is the Puppy Love Shawl. And it's by Kalisha Ryan, and she does the Quirky Monday Craft Cast, and then Quirky Monday Crafts, she sells handmade bags. So the llama bag that you've seen, she made that. And she just released this pattern, the Puppy Love Shawl, and it's the colors are patterned after her two little dogs, and it's really cute and adorable. And I'm really glad she released the pattern because it looks really, really great, and I'm excited to make it. I just have to figure out what yarn I want to use because it's worsted weight, so I have plenty of that in acrylic that I can make, and then we'll kind of go from there and figure it out. And I think it has crochet brioche, if you will, which is fun. I'm excited to do that. And it's the Rapture shawl from Zines and Roger also has the brioche at the bottom on the border. So I'll get to practice that a little bit because I haven't done it yet. So that'll be really fun because I kind of sort of started a Rapture, but I haven't worked on it since I started the knitting stuff. So that'll probably be the next thing that I pick up crochet. Kind of go back and forth between the Faded Unicorns Cowl and the Rapture, which I'm calling my Left Behind shawl. And if you're giggling right now, then you get it, and if you're not, then don't worry about it. Yeah, so those are the things that I wanted to show you guys. Do go watch Hannah, Cozy Cottage Crochet, her most recent episode. She shows off her Killmonger cowl, so she tested it for me and had excellent feedback because she is also a pattern designer, so she had some ideas like, do this, don't do this, people like this, as well as pattern notes on things that needed updating and correction and that kind of fun stuff. And she made a really gorgeous version of the Killmonger cowl, so you can go see it on her podcast. Zelda, I always say it wrong. Is it NRJ3? JNR3? Zelda, where are you? She made two versions because she's a super fast crocheter. Zelda NRJ3 from a Vegas trip. She made two versions and they're both really great. One of which is from the hand-dyed yarn that we got at Sin City Knits when we were in Vegas, the yarn shop there. And so you can see her version, and it should be coming out. I have it out to 2 other testers who are going to be getting back to me in another week, and then I'll send it off for tech editing real quick, and then it'll get posted, I'm hoping, by the end of the month. And maybe we'll have a little crochet along to go along with it or something exciting, because it's my first pattern and I'm super excited for you all to get to see it and make it and to see what you make and the different versions that you make and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's super exciting. So excited. Yeah, and so I think that's all that I have for you today, and I will see you again on Sunday. You can find me online in the in-between on Instagram as The TattedTatter and on Ravelry as TattedTatter. And I will post a link to my Ravelry projects page because I put everything in there in extensive notes on any changes that I've made to the pattern or what I think about the pattern or the yarn or any of those things, so you can see the details on that. And hopefully by next week I have a conference, another conference this coming week, and so I'm going to work really hard on my Faded Unicorns cowl, try to get that done, and another hat for my nephew, and maybe I'll work on my Rapture, because we're going to be doing, again, just a lot of sitting and listening to people talk, which is going to be good stuff, but I need something to do with my hands while that's happening, or I will fall asleep. Or just drift off. I find that I'm a visual learner, so if I don't have something to look at, then I get distracted because I want something to look at while I'm listening, and not just the person talking, right? Because it's different. So if I'm crocheting or now knitting, it helps me pay attention a lot better. So I'm really, yeah. And one of my friends who knits, who helped inspire me to really started knitting, Jeannie Aree, is going to be there, and my other friend Blair, and so we'll be able to sit and craft together and show off what we're making and all that kind of stuff. It'll be fun. Have some yarny talk. in the midst of the work conference. So yeah, hopefully I'll have some good stuff to show you next Sunday. And then Yarn Crawl, San Diego Yarn Crawl starts next weekend. So Claudia of Crochet Luna and then Zelda and I are gonna get together and go to a couple shops. My nephew's birthday is next Sunday, so I'll be down in San Diego in town for that. And so we'll go see a couple things, and I might drag my mom along and get some yarn. Limited yarn budget, because I bought those bags too, so I just took that out of my San Diego Yarn Crawl budget, and it was totally worth it. Maybe I'll have those to show you too, who knows? So yeah, so I think that's everything for today. I will see you next Sunday, and have a good week. Bye.